Okay, here's that bonus video I promised you. What we're going to do is take a tent stakes that we made in our notching video, which I actually went ahead and made another one. So we need 2 tent stakes, four toggles, a couple of small pieces of number 36 bankline, and about a 20-foot piece of paracord, and an emergency space blanket. Now don't confuse this with that normal emergency blanket that you see, that real small silver thing that you can just fit in your glove compartment. This is a little bigger, a little nicer made. It's also a little more expensive, but it will hold up. And it has some grommets here on the corners, and you can see that it's silver, shiny, reflective material on one side, and the one I got orange. I figure if I'm going to need this, I might need some help. I might be in an emergency situation, so I got some nice bright orange to contrast out here in the woods. You're going to want to put the silver shiny side in towards you. That'll trap your body heat down inside of your shelter. So what you want to find are 2 trees, anywhere probably between 9 and 15 feet if you have the 20-foot piece of paracord. So you're going to take your 20-foot piece of paracord. I'm going to come up close for this here, and in one end of it you're going to tie a bowline knot. Now I learned to tie it by, the rabbit comes up the hole around the tree and back down the hole, and I never really remembered how to do it. But I learned an easier way to do this, and I always remember how to do it. So you take your line, twist it, and then pinch it at the twist, and then just take the tag end through the hole that you just made, down through the hole that your fingers are making, around the back of the paracord, and then back up through the hole. Now here's the little tricky part. When you go back up through the hole, you're going to want to grab that loop that you created when you went back around. And when you do that, there you go. You have yourself a nice bowline knot. Now you can leave this on this piece of paracord, which is your ridgeline, because you'll be able to use it all the time. Now another thing, I don't know if you've noticed, when you have your paracord, a lot of times you get knots in it. It gets all bound up and it's a pain to get apart. Well, I did also learn a way to do this that it won't get twisted up, and it's really easy to deploy. You're going to take your index finger and your middle finger, and you're going to put that between it like this to the back of your hand. Then you're going to take your pinky and your thumb, and you're just going to alternate up and down and over your pinky and your thumb, and you're just going to keep wrapping this up. Now I've actually done this with over 50 feet of paracord, and it works out nice there too. Just depends on how long your thumb and pinky are. So once you get down to where you have some left over, we're going to grab it right here in the middle and pinch it. We're going to pull our thumb out, and we're going to pull our pinky out. And then we're going to keep a hold of this, and we're going to wrap around it once, twice, and we're going to put our finger over those 2 wraps. We're going to wrap over top of our finger twice. Then we're going to take this leftover end, and we're going to stick through here, and we're just going to pull it down a little snug. There you go. You have a nice little bundle for your paracord. You throw it in your pack. You can carry your ridgeline with you all the time. And now the neat trick is, whenever you want to use it, you just pull on this end of the loop. And out it comes. So there you go. Wasn't all tangled up. It was easy to get it out. Okay, so what we're going to do, take your first tree, and you're going to wrap paracord around it, and you're going to feed it through that bowline loop. Okay, pull that a little tight. And we're going to come over to our other tree, and we're going to wrap around it. And now, what we're going to do here is we're going to take about maybe 1.5 2 feet back. Depends on how far apart your trees are. If you don't have a lot left over here, you're going to have to come a little closer to the tree. We have quite a bit left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen up a little bit, and I'm going to twist this into a loop. And when I do twist this loop, I'm going to reach down through and grab this piece and pull it back up through the loop and then pull it down. And there you go. You have a nice loop already in your paracord. And it's an easy knot to get out. You just pull on it and it gets out. So take your other end, stick through this loop. And whenever you're putting this up, you want to make sure that you kind of keep it evenly spaced on the trees here. So here we go. We're pulling on this, and then we're going to pinch all of this. We're going to pinch our loop here and our extra piece out here. We're going to pinch all that together and hold it. And then we're going to take our leftover piece and we're going to reach across through the loop and grab the piece that's hanging down. When we do, we're going to get another nice little loop right on the end here. Now for right now, don't go any further because we're going to use this loop. So here's our tarp, our space blanket. And I'll tell you, one thing that you want to do is make sure that you're putting it out the long way here. That'll give you a nice long shelter out this way, especially if you have a fire in the front, because you want to lay long ways in front of that fire. So you want to have your tarp out this long ways. And don't forget to put the reflective material in. If it's in the wintertime, you're probably going to want to keep your ridge line down closer to the ground to trap the heat in there. If it's in summertime, keep it up a little higher and let the air flow through. So we're going to take one of those toggles that we made. We're going to take this loop that we have, we're going to feed it through one of the ends here of the grommet. Then we're going to take our toggle, stick it in there through that loop into the notch that we made. And then we're going to take that loose end and we're just going to pull this down tight. Now once it's pulled down tight, we're going to do the same thing we did. We're going to reach over, we're going to grab, and we're going to pull. We're going to pull a loop in here. A half hitch is actually what we're doing. And then we're going to do it again. And you put 2 in there, and then that's nice and secure. Now for the other side, okay, so you can see we don't have a loop on this side over here. So what we're going to have to do is make one. So what we're going to do is take a piece of number 36 bank line. We're going to tie a fisherman's knot in this. Now what that means is we're going to cross these over, and then we're going to take and just tie an overhand knot on one side. And then we're going to take the other piece and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just tie an overhand knot. Now you'll see what you have is a knot that slides along. What we're going to do is just pull this tight. Okay, so there we go. We have our fisherman's knot. Now we're going to take it over here. We're going to turn it into a prussic knot with one of our toggles. Okay, so what we're going to do over here, hopefully you can still see, we're going to take our loop that we made with our fisherman's knot, we're going to wrap it around the paracord once, twice, 3 times, staying on the inside of the loop, and then we're just going to dress it down. We're going to pull it down tight, we're going to make sure that these loops are lined up nice on there, and we're going to keep the knots that we created from the fisherman's knot, we're going to keep that off to the side. We don't want it right here in the dead center of that. Now, next, we're going to feed that through the grommet on the other side of our space blanket. Then, we're going to put a toggle in there. Now you're going to see with this prussic knot, it slides right down along here. But, once it gets to the end, then it holds. And that's actually how it works, is it's just holding the tension on the line there. And there you go. You have the top of your tarp hooked on your ridge line. Now I'm going to switch the camera around to the back here, and I'm going to show you how to put in your tent stakes. So just hang on, we'll be right back. Okay, so here we are at the back of our shelter. Now, what you need are 2 more of those loops that we created tying the fisherman's knot. Now I already tied them up for us. We're going to go through the grommets in the back of the shelter here. We're going to stick our toggle through there. We're going to pull that down, and then what we're going to do is take our tent stake around the other part of the loop. We're going to pull this out. You see, I just found a rock. And we're just going to pound that in the ground. I'm going to do the other side quick, and then we'll be all done. Okay, there you go. That's called emergency 5-minute shelter. But once you practice it a couple of times, you'll be calling it the emergency less than 2-minute shelter. You'll have your ridgeline, you already have your bowline knot tied in it. You'll have your prussic knot made out of the number 36 bankline already on it. And you'll have your loops tied here, you'll have your stakes made. With all those materials, you can throw this up in no time flat. Well, that's it for this bonus video. Why don't you come on back? We have some more videos for you to watch. Thanks.